Good evening. Hello. How are you? Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Yes, halfway through the week. Unless, of course, you have to work the weekend. Well, happy Wednesday evening. I tell you, I almost forgot. I literally remembered about 5:30 tonight. Hey, I streamed tonight. I changed my schedule and I like it, but it is not second nature to me yet. I don't know why. It shouldn't be hard. It's 2 nights a week. It's 2 times a week. So, anyway, I made my supper, which was wonderful. I chopped up fresh zucchini. I had canned tomatoes with Italian seasoning, and I sauteed those together in a pan until the zucchini's cooked, and I fry the zucchinis first. No batter, just fry them in butter. And I love it. I love it. You can buy it canned, and it's okay except they put onions in it, and I don't. I use onion salt, but I don't put onions in mine. My mom got me hooked on it. She would ask for that, and she always had cans in her cupboard. Right? She loved that. She loved that, and I do too. Hubby won't touch it. No. But that's okay. He's eating later tonight anyway. He's outside working. It's actually pretty nice outside. We're getting a bit of a cold front coming through, and so it has been very pleasant all day. All right. I am spinning tonight. I am done with the preparation of the skeins for the booth. They are back here behind me in a Rubbermaid tub and a box. I will tell you an astounding fact. I kept measurements, right? I re-skeined most of them. A lot of them were in 1 yard skeins, which are bulky. They're just big blobs of yarn. And so I was making them into 2 yard, and so I always count that. I know it's an estimate, but still I marked that down for every one, and I kept a list of everything I'm taking for inventory reasons, and the price I decided to put on it, and the yardage, and how many wraps per inch. So the wraps per inch was anywhere from 7, which was my bulkiest, to 14, which was my thinnest. And that's for 2-ply. But so I just, on a whim, I totaled up those yards. And I have 7,135 yards of 2-ply that I am taking for the booth to sell. So, I wanted to sell. I'm having a really hard time thinking that I might come home with none of this yarn. That just doesn't compute in my brain. That would have to be probably the biggest stash down I've ever had. So we'll see how it goes. I anticipate it's going to be half of it. You know, a good amount will sell, but not that much. I was trying to get a handle on prices. Have you looked at Etsy prices for handspun yarn? I was floored. I don't know how they're getting that kind of money. If people would look at that first and then come shop my booth, I would not bring any yarn home because I marked it really inexpensive. I used for regular wool, dyed or natural, no additives, just 100% wool, except merino pole, except the softer ones, okay? The softer ones were almost always mixed with something else anyway, so it was another category. But for the 100% wool, I put $10 for 100 yards. Most of my skeins varied between 100 even to, I would have multiple skeins. I would stop around 200 on a skein. I don't like my skeins to be real big and bulky. I want to be able to roll them, tuck them in, and have them nice. Plus, if I hang them up to display them, I don't want it to be so much yarn, right? So, 200 yards. Now, I have a lot that had multiple skeins. And, when it had 3 or 4 skeins of the same fiber, same color, same everything, I put them together in a bag and made a price for the bag, but I still took into account the yardage. But a lot of times I discounted those by at least $5, if not more, from what it would have been, depending on the fiber too. As I said, if it was merino, or if it had any kind of merino and additive like merino tencel or whatever, I had those listed as a base price of $15 for 100 yards. I ended up pricing most of those around $30 for the skein, and usually it was only one skein. And then I had bulky, which I call rug yarn. It's not next to the skin. It's very rough, and I have it in multiple colors, and it's definitely somebody who's weaving a rug or knitting it, because I've knit a rug out of it, that exact kind of thing. Bulky was $5 a yard. So I have some skeins that are $5. I mean, not $5 a yard, $5 for 100 yards. It's cheap. It's very cheap. So we'll see how it goes. That is on the 16th. So we're 10 days away and counting. Hubby and I were talking about that. We leave on a Friday. We drive up there, stay overnight. I just vend on Saturday, and I have to contact Woolly Knob and find out if they're going to set up on Friday night or Saturday, and see if I need to be there by then, which means we need to push a little bit on Friday to get up there. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. So, all right, I am going to be spinning the brown Shetland that you see sitting over here on the table, and it's a big bunch of fiber, which is a cool thing because I am really, really trying to get a lot of this fiber out of visibility so hubby doesn't see it. And a lot of stuff I prep myself in the drum carter has to be, I can't pack it down because it's like that blue that's sitting back there, right back there. That is some that I had drum carded, and if I do that, I don't want it to get squished, right? So I have them in tubs and little flat open boxes to keep them from getting squished. So I'm trying to get all of that finished up. And when I was spinning today, we didn't do too much, and I decided that I would spin on the Roberta, which happens to be in the living room, all plugged in, ready to go. So I grabbed brown bats. They were brown and gray, mostly grayish brown, and it was Shetland also. different than this, but because it's from a fleece that I bought, that I washed, that I carded, right? And I may have combed some, and this is comb waste, although for comb waste it was pretty okay. So I have a feeling it's not. I have a feeling I just decided to go ahead and somewhere in all my record keeping, I have that written down, but I don't take the time to look it up anymore. So I made 7 bats sometime the last year or year and a half, and it's been sitting in a box, and I decided I would go ahead and spin that on the Roberta, and I pulled 3.5. I divided it 3.5, and that 3.5 of those bats just fit right on my Roberta bottom, nice and full, and I'm really happy about that. So it worked out good. So I'm getting that done, and I'm getting this Shetland done. I do have a lot of Shetland. I just like Shetland and seem to buy it. Alright, I am going to turn around here and get comfortable. I'm kind of hurting today. Not really any reason. Let's see if we're in the camera. Yeah, we're in the camera. Okay, a little bit of a drink. The ice is already melted. It's iced tea. Nothing alcohol tonight. Unfortunately, the other thing that's going on right now is a whole bunch of auctions at that auction house that I like to follow. They have 6 auctions running right now, and they end between tonight and the first one is ending through I think the 14th or 15th of September. So I have been looking at all of those and pretty much deciding no, don't, that kind of thing. But I have 2 bids. I don't know if I'm going to get outbid or not. We have been trying to get a washer. We got outbid because hubby he does not want to buy a used one too high a price. So it was going to be hard to get out anyway. So that is the other thing. We would have to move it ourselves. We'd have to get probably help with his brother, and I would have to take him and his brother to wherever it is. They would have to unhook it, manhandle it into the car, which hubby says it will fit in the car. We have fold-down back seats, but that means if there's 3 of us, one person has to sit beside the washer on the folded down seat, and it's not going to be me because I'm always the driver. And his brother is very tall, so more likely to be hubby. So it's not the best situation. I keep telling him I just want to buy one new and have it delivered, and he says our washer's not bad enough yet to justify that. Okay. He does laundry anyway. It is not so much, for a while there, the washer was acting up and not running all the time. He seems to have gotten that fixed. It just, you'd have to go out there and, restart it and get it going again and all that. And you had to pay attention to it. Now it seems to be, it doesn't do that anymore. But the biggest problem is, it's in, the utility room has 3 steps down and 3 steps up. And they're homemade steps. They're not easy for me to manage. And I just could not with a clothes basket. So he has been doing laundry for quite a few years for us now because of my inability to use that area. Get to that area. This is spinning so much prettier than my bats. This I don't know, maybe this is top. It's not dense like top would be normally, but it definitely feels like it's had most of the stuff pulled out of it that normally you get when you have roving, where, like it has gone through some kind of combing system. I can't even remember where I got this. I bought it at a fiber fair, that's all I remember, and of course that vendor would have bought it or had it milled, and didn't put that information on it. After going through all of those skeins of yarn and that yardage and all of that, I'm amazed how much information I do have, because I tried very hard to pick skeins that I did have the pertinent fiber content to list it, and I had a couple where I knew it was 100% wool, and I just put unknown breed, right? Because it was a gray wool, or it was a brown wool, or whatever. I'm not going to call it something if I'm not sure. I can be sure, though, that it's wool. So anyway, I have a few of those, but I don't insist that I know the breed if I know it's 100% wool, but I do insist knowing if it's not 100% wool, if there's something else in there. So I think I have done a pretty good job getting that listed. However, after doing all that, I am now aware of how much sometimes I don't know on what I'm spinning, like this, right? Especially my older stuff. It gets stored in a different bag, and it's just, and I don't mind. For me, I love this. I know I'm keeping this. It's so soft. I love the color. It just begs to be something lace work. Not fine lace, but a pretty patterned. More so than like a cable. It's not that crisp, right? It's softer, and really needs a kind of drapey pattern. I'm looking forward to making it, working with it. Anyway, if whatever doesn't sell at the booth, I probably will list it on Etsy. In my mind, it's already not mine anymore, and so it should be okay if I can find the time. The problem is we're getting to, holiday season, and we're gonna be going on a cruise, and fiber work for me really slows down after September. Hi, Kay. So anyway, I'm not going to worry about it, but Christmas is coming. What's new in your life, Kay? Trying to decide. I'm so in the mood to do some non-fiber craft. I don't really know. I do know. I really want to make some of the quilt looking ornaments that you use squares of fabric and you uh, pin the fabric, push pins into styrofoam balls. I'm going to definitely make a couple of those. I think that'll cure that itch for me. I also am very, very gradually doing a little bit of clutter control. Today I have a bread box, a wood bread box on top of my refrigerator, which never has had bread in it. Top of the refrigerator is just not where you put bread. And I've never had a really good place to do it, but I found out it's fantastic for storing some stuff. And what I finally ended up storing a lot of is the green bags that I put the produce and stuff in. I love those. I have a pack of those. And the plastic with elastic, I don't know how else to explain it, bowl covers. So, instead of putting something in a Tupperware, I just pop one of those bowl covers on the bowl and put it in the fridge, and I have a set of those, and I store those in there. I store any bag, Ziploc bags that I wash and I'm going to reuse. I don't store the new ones. They're in a different cupboard, but there are times I do feel like, oh, well, that just had bread in it or something like that. I can give it a wash and it'll be all right. So I cleaned that out today. I was like, oh my gosh, it was just a jumbled mess. Doesn't help that I can't see in it, right? It's over my head. So, and then the next I'm going to do in the kitchen is a cupboard area where I have baking mixes and things like chocolate chips and the square packets of sauces, that sort of thing. Had a fun drive. Oh no, in the downpour. We got a little bit of rain today. Made some dinner, and now you're back to crocheting. What you crocheting? What you working on? Anyway, I'm just taking little sections of stuff. I think going through all the yarn kind of got me in that mood. So, kind of spreading it out to other areas. Yay, Kay! You got it. I miss seeing it though. My screen is kind of back. I have to crank my head around to see it. When I was pricing those yarns, I tell you, I could hardly walk through this room. I took the spinning wheel out. I had the table in here to work on, though. It's just, oh my gosh. There was stuff everywhere. Oh, it's a blanket with diamond shapes. Ooh, sounds pretty. Yeah, I'd love to see a picture. took an hour nap this afternoon. I did not sleep well last night, and I knew if I wanted to stream this regular time, I needed a little shut-eye. It was nice. Those are good naps. When you lay down, you fall asleep, you wake up, and they're just the right amount of time. You don't feel groggy or anything. I rarely nap. I doze like an old person in my chair sometimes, I used to think, I just would shake my head with my husband. It was like he could not sit down in front of the TV and not fall asleep. But I never did. Now I do. Sometimes more so than I used to. Get off there. There we go. Oh, popped it bigger. I didn't want it bigger. I wanted it moved. Wait. What colors are you using? The first thing I was going to say was, that is so 60s. But I like that. So far you have a pile of orange and pink. So you are. Okay. Oh, and you have to sew them together? Oh. So you are doing that. I like the colors. It is real retro looking with that star thing. Is that one with the star sewn on there after the fact, or is that I don't see how that'd be crocheting. Cool, thank you. I like that. Very interesting. It really, really is. Right? The retro? Yeah. It looks like the from something from one of the pattern books that I have that are in black and white from Burnett, with the old Red Heart yarn. I assume you're using a really soft yarn. Oh, you crochet them together. Well, yeah, that'd be all right. Yeah, that'd be all right. I love pink. I like light pink and light green together. That's one of my favorite combinations. I probably would make it that way instead of using the brighter colors, but I like that. Oh, it's fun. I don't know if I have any. I don't really have. I say I like it. I don't really have that kind of yarn though. The stars also crocheted on. Well, that's interesting. You can probably sew it, but your first attempts are not straight. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know how you get them to fit. That's why I thought you would just pick up on some side and then you just, make them fit as you crochet them together. Not crochet them together, but continue the pattern. Reminds me of Argyle. I really, really want sometime to make a pair of Argyle socks from one of those old books where you have to use little bobbins of wound yarn for the color work. I'd probably give up on it. I bet I would get started and then decide I didn't like it doing it. I have so much trouble getting socks with color work to fit. That's what always got me, they show them mostly for men, and I'm like, man, how'd they get them to fit? You thought it was one long blanket, you just color change. Yeah, when you looked at the pattern, that's what I thought too, yeah. Or like a strip that kind of, they get crocheted together with triangles in between or something like that. That probably works better with hexagons than the... Are those triangles or, shoot, I gotta look at it again. Oh, there we go. How interesting. It isn't really sewing. You pick up a stitch and crochet them on. All those ends. Oh. That's all I can think of is all those ends. Yeah, they're actual diamonds. Your friend of mine liked it, but I didn't want to make it, and now I know why. Yeah. Okay. Even if I read a pattern, a lot of times I can't really visualize what it's saying. I'm such a row by row crafter, knitter, crocheter. I've gotten to the point where I understand construction of socks now, after doing so many basic pairs, but, and of course, most garments, hats and gloves, I kind of understand the construction, so I can pretty much tell by the picture, but when you get to something like this, then you're not real sure what it's doing. Try not to I'm just doomed to make blanket pieces. Yeah, you're trying not to think about the ends yet. Well, you're going to gift her. That'll be nice. She'll be surprised. Or maybe she knows you're making it. I don't know, but it's nice that you're doing that. I just spent a whole bunch of time looking at quilts. That made me think of the quilt pieces in one auction. Oh my gosh. They're hand quilted, and right now they're cheap, really cheap. They're under $10. But I'm like, I can't buy these. I don't need to be buying these, right? I'll tell you what I really need to become is a buyer for a business where they sell not secondhand stuff, but vintage, where they sell vintage. I'd be good at it. I'd be good. I can find the good stuff, but maybe I don't need to be trying to have that business. Ooh, I don't like that one. I don't want it. That looks too real. Don't need a poke ball, you need a fly swatter. I have been watching before I go to bed on Prime Video the last season of Mrs. Maisel, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Oh my gosh. I don't know how it's going to end. I only watch about a half of one before I get sleepy and fall asleep. Told you to use a fly swatter. Yeah, I'm gonna be yawning a lot tonight, unfortunately. when I started spinning this today in the living room, hubby was there, of course, watching TV, and he says, "You're spinning more yarn," because he knew what I had gone through all this yarn and got it ready to sell. And and I looked at him and I said, I will spin yarn until the fiber is all gone. There is so much fiber here. Of course I'm going to spin yarn. I said, what you really meant to ask was, is this for the booth? And the answer is no. But he was like, "You're spinning more yarn?" Well, yeah, that's pretty much a given. Judging by how much fiber I've got to use up. I tell you, I missed a really good stretch of dry weather for drying fleeces. I should have washed a fleece. I have a couple I need to do. I just have not been in the mood to do what I ought to do lately. The thing that gets me is how much you spin and spin and spin. Right? I think I have 5 ounces of fiber to put on each bobbin here. This is half of it. And, I'm spinning thin, I'm spinning worsted, and you spin and spin and spin, and you think, oh man, I'm going to have enough to make a whatever. And then, you ply it and measure it, and it's 300 yards, which it's not a shawl. at 300 yards. I'm not real sure why. It seems like there should be lots more yardage when you spin thin like this, and it takes multiple days to get it done. One bob and done. I haven't worked on this since last stream on Sunday, though. Too busy counting up yards of other stuff. The other skeins of yarn. What is it with the spiders? That's what's even worse. Oh. They're on a thing here. God. Oh well. Maybe we'll get a cute teddy bear or something at some point. Spider Day, yeah, right. Spider Day! Uh-oh, that don't feel right. It's not right. There we go. Wasn't in the last orifice hook there. No one caught it because we didn't want it. I've been known to grab a canning jar with lid, empty one, when I see a big spider in the house. I don't kill it, I take it outside, but I catch it in a jar. Spiders hang out at the bottom of the stairs, and we have an agreement that they don't come up. I used to, when my daughter was younger and still lived here, she'd tell me every spring, okay, Mom, it's time to go make the peace treaty with the wasps. We have wasps out here in the country, and I have an old house, and they get in. It's not real common, but they do get in. And the whole deal is we're not going to try and even deal with it to get it out, right? Like a spider or something like that. It's behave or you're dead. Because wasps, I hate wasps, and can react to their sting and stuff. So anyway, time to make the peace treaty with the wasp, Mom. And I was like, well, well, you just go right ahead and you tell them the rules. Get out or you're dead. I don't know. Anyway, I think of that every time I see one bopping around on the window or whatever. It's like, you're not supposed to be in the house. You're allowed to be outside anywhere you want. You got the whole outside, not in the house. I know. I'm not real fond of spiders either, but, I don't feel like they're gonna make me swell up, and they might though. It's you can't be too careful. You never know. So yeah, I have a can of wasp spray under the sink, and I use it. I don't even talk to them about it anymore. It's just, you're dead. Ooh, I am reading a good book. It's by Margaret Atwood, which I love her writing. And it's called The Robber Bride. Big, thick, hardback book. Kind of book I love to get into. And I have a hard time finding time to read because if hubby isn't outside working, he has the TV on. I can't read with the TV on, so he would pause the TV, go out on the porch, maybe for a smoke or whatever, and I'd read a page and a half, and then he'd come back in, and I'd have to put my book up. It's a good book, though. I like Margaret Atwood. You just got the crap scared out of you by a spider coming in? Right now? You don't like spiders, but that's a me problem, not a them problem. Or you just mean that in general, that you were scared once and you just don't like them because of that. I have had them come, I'm sitting in the chair and they come walking up the side of the chair and over the arm. It's like, scream like a girl, Looks like Chill Hop channel is done. Let's go find something else here. Can we go back? Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty. Might be an ad here.
Being an executive woman.
Yes, there's an ad.
In 2003, I gave up my lipstick and pinstripe suit to go live on.
You haven't read a lot, but you like what you read? Yeah. It scurried in as you took Lily out. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, what I hate is when Newman is, he always sits up on a armchair or a hassock or something. He doesn't lay on the floor too much. And he's sleeping. And then you see him sit up and start just right gazing along the floor, and you're like, what do you see? What's over there? Sometimes I think he sees ghosts of my mice past, Little mice ghosts running around. I don't know what he sees, but one time he was doing it big time, all over the house. I finally found a little hoppy toad. He knows better than to catch those because they taste really bad, and he doesn't catch it, but he worries them to death, I'll tell you. But it took me a long time to figure out what he was chasing, because it was like in the living room, and then in the dining room, and then in the kitchen, and it was all over the place.
Is everybody in the groove? Stick around. We're just warming up, baby.
Oh, that's nice. Just yawn on the camera. God, I didn't even think about that. I was just yawning. Yeah, speaking of reading, there are days when I get up, I'm in my pajamas, and I go and I make the coffee, and I'm waiting for the coffee, and I think, I don't want to do anything today. I just want to sit and read all day. I'm going to sit and read all day. That never happens. It never happens, right? There's always something to do. One of the things that I'm constantly working on is getting the streams uploaded to the YouTube channel, so that they're archived. I don't have to sit here, but I have to come and start a new one periodically. It seems like a lot right now because I'm working on, remember Tour de Fleece? Where, I streamed the whole 3 weeks every day. So, there's a lot there. Feels like I can't get caught up. You're really glad Lily doesn't pay attention to anything smaller than a squirrel. Yeah. Or try to bring them into you. Yeah. My Twitch, my cat on the porch, has become a queen bee, let me tell you. She rules the roost. The other cat, I believe is her brother, is half again her size. I mean, he's a big boy. Not fat. He's just got a big head and long legs, and he's just a male cat. And of course, we feed him, but he's not. He's to the point where he meows for the food in the morning, like she does, and he lets me pet him. But we're not trying to make him a pet. We're gonna keep him outside. Supposedly, he's a barn cat. They living on the porch. But anyway, Twitch loves canned wet food. She gets half a can in the morning and half a can in the evening, and this poor yellow cat just sits there and waits and waits, or I'll put dry food out, and he tries to come eat the dry food. She goes over there. I mean, it's across the porch. She goes over there and smacks him on the head. That's like, I was just like, what's it to you? You don't even like the dry food, and you got canned food. She doesn't get after him unless there's wet food on the porch. That's the only time she gets after him. She does not want to share that with anybody. I was trying to give him some. I finally was able to give him a little bit this morning. By holding her in my lap and letting him eat some out of a bowl. What's that song? Why can't we all just get along together? It's all well and good unless it involves wet food. That good tuna. There we go. We got something a little more cuddly. Oh man, when I was streaming on Sunday, somebody told me, I can't remember who, I don't think it was UK, but somebody told me I was going, it was Veggie, that I was going away and coming back. And it never told me on Twitch. I have a button where it shows me that I'm live, and that counted the whole time. It never stopped and started over with new counting. And when I went to look after, I had 4 stream sections for a 2-hour stream on Sunday. I'm just like so frustrated when that happens. Of course they upload quicker, but I tend to not make those public when there's multiple sections, because I think that's kind of hard to keep track of for some people that want to watch the whole thing. They're just out of luck on that one. I don't know. I don't know if it's Twitch or if it's our internet. I really don't. We lost our electric today. It was a quick, hard, everything went dark, everything came back on. We were not having a storm in our area, but, I mean, immediately around us, but there might have been some in the area or something. Um, the kind that, the clocks all go flashing. You have to reset the clocks. But generally, our electric's pretty dependable. I don't tend to think that that's what's causing it. I pulled out I've been accumulating things that, I'm getting ready to take for the booth, and I pulled out a big, I call them carpet bags. This one is not made out of carpet like some of them are, but, that big kind of bag, and that I can put everything in. And I pulled it out, and it was full of fiber. It's just like, oh my gosh. I don't remember putting that in there. So I restored that somewhere else, and it's great. It's great big. There's 8 ounces of a dyed braid, and there's 8 ounces of a brown. Again, a brown for its plying single. So it's going to have to be this spinning wheel project. I do this intentionally. I buy at least 8 ounces of fiber because I want enough to make something with it, right? And therefore, it takes me a while to spin. It's pretty fall colors, though. I found when I saw it, I was like, oh, that would be really nice to spin right now. The oranges and greens and like fall leaves. I forget what kind of fiber it is. I was going to self-ply this. I think I still will. I'm going to go ahead and self-ply this. Because I have another brown I can ply with that. I was just going to say this would be a good fiber to ply with it too. You need to finish the Jacob spin for the shawl, before you spin anything else. Yeah. Well, if I do like I did today and keep the Roberta in the living room, I will get more spinning done. Because if hubby has the TV on and I can't read, then I need something to do. And it was raining today, not all day, but we just didn't do anything outside because it was periodic. It was raining periodically. But you got fiber in the colorway. S'mores you want. I saw that. Did you get some of that? Yeah. I don't need the fiber. I need the s'mores. I need chocolate and marshmallow. I love that. Especially when it melts the marshmallow. Ooh, I love s'mores. Have you ever seen those little in-house s'more makers? Where they're, I don't know if it's a candle or if it's some kind of butane thing, but it kind of looks like a covered bowl, and you heat the marshmallows with it over it. Gimmicky, I know, but I do love them. I try to fake it. You did not need it, but you got it. Yeah, but you did get it. Yeah. I try to fake it. I have graham crackers around, and then I get Trader Joe's has speculoos, which isn't really chocolate. It's cookie butter. Or I'll actually buy the Hershey bars, but not melt the marshmallow. Just squash it and eat it that way. I do try to kind of fake it a little bit when I'm in the mood for that. We had a set when you were a teenager, did you? Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of a fondue, right? But, that general idea where you cook something over something. So it must have worked, huh? Of course, I have a gas stove. I don't need anything else. I got an open flame. I just don't know. With me, it would probably fall and melt and make a horrendous. I gotta clean it up mess. Crackers, marshmallow fluff. Oh, marshmallow fluff, yes. Or Nutella and a Hershey bar works in a pinch. You're right. I forgot about marshmallow fluff. We've had that around. Hubby has gone through stints or stages where he buys that and just eats it out of the jar with a spoon, So there has been times where I have had marshmallow fluff around. I think it's the Hershey bars more than anything that I end up not really having. And Nutella, it's okay. I'm not. That's not real. Like you say, it's in a pinch, right? I'm not 100% fond of the taste of Nutella. But when you want a snack, there's lots of ways to get it. That's for sure. I have got to bake some cookies. Oh man, I have been craving oatmeal raisin cookies big time. what I say every year after Christmas is over is that I would bake a different kind of cookie once a month and do all the Christmas cookies. I have yet to do any. You know, it just, I don't know what it is. Whether I just am not in the mood, or I use the Christmas time to, splurge on a diet, and the rest of the year I behave myself, because I don't need to be eating cookies. So anyway, I don't know. It never happens, even though I say I'm gonna. You keep buying marshmallow fluff to make dip for apple slices. Oh. And I keep not making it and making s'mores or fluff nutters instead, yeah. I tell you what I eat that hubby thinks is crazy. I like celery. And I like celery with peanut butter on it. My apples, I will dip in caramel if I have it, but for the most part, I don't like them dipped in anything, or, I just want an apple. We got a new, I want to say breed of apple. It's, whatever, at Trader Joe's when we went there. It was called Rave, R-A-V-E. I am not raving. I didn't like them. They are like a juicy, very juicy version of a Granny Smith. That's the best way I can describe them. Which surprised me because they look very much, they're red, and they have the notch bumps on the bottom like Red Delicious. I really was like, wow, you got me on this one, because I thought I'd like you. So I have turned to what hubby does all the time with almost all fruit. But when I get a sour apple like that, I'll salt it. And it helps a little bit. Oops. I'm totally missed the charbug. And not paying attention. So I'm going to turn the music up a little bit since I'm not talking much. Got awfully quiet too. Boy, there sure is no waste to this fiber. You stop to double check where you're at. You got about a third of the pieces done. Oh, okay. That sounds good. My wheel sounds like it's galloping tonight. Like a horse galloping. It really is noisy tonight. Heaven help me, I have a bid out on in the auction on some cookbooks. It's about 8 of them. I don't know all of them, but the reason I'm bidding is one is cookbooks by Anthony Bourdain. I loved his food shows, and the other one is called Kentucky Cordon Bleu Kentucky, which, you know, cordon bleu is gourmet, right? I thought that would be really interesting. Let's see if I get it. I think the auction closes tomorrow. I have so many cookbooks. I pulled one out today that the last time I bought some cookbooks out in an auction, they were all Christmas oriented, you know, stuff for Christmas. And I looked at them when I got them, but I pulled them out. I pulled one out today to look at. And actually start marking, you know, with a little piece of paper what stuff I really want to make, try to make. It takes a brave soul to even write a cookbook. I'll tell you, I don't know how in the world you could come up with anything that isn't already published. But I guess people do. And I keep buying them. I buy them used, but... And then I thin them out, take them to half price, and then all of a sudden I don't have room again on my shelf. Can't say that I have a favorite, although there is a cookbook I have used to cook out of. Since I got married the first time in 76, because it was a gift to me from my hubby and of that marriage, and I've had it ever since, and boy, it looks it too. But that is my go-to. I'd look there first if I'm looking for any specific recipe that's not out of the ordinary. I mean, you know, I'm talking just ordinary kind of food. I can't remember the name of that one though. It's not Betty Crocker, that's for sure. I don't have any of the Betty Crocker cookbooks. I have a lot of, I have Taste of Home magazines and a couple Taste of Home cookbooks, you know, that they publish. What's another people would know? I don't know. Anyway. I'm looking for, I hope I get that lot. I would love to be able to look at those cookbooks. That's what really is terrible. I mean, it's like a library, right? I buy them cheap enough that I can look at them, decide if I want them or not, and take them to half price if I don't. Some go real high. I'll tell you what goes real high. You know, the cookbooks that the groups put out that usually are spiral bound and little, and you know, and they're recipes submitted by the members. Those are so collectible. They're really, really collectible. Hi, Veggie. Hi. Oh, that's yeah. I know you'll have ads. Am I too late for this? Probably. Oh, good. No. I'm just sitting here spinning away, not paying attention to anything. You snuck in on me, Veggie. Aw, we didn't get it. When I was doing all those yarns, the thing that was taking me the most time, is I have labels on them, and I was looking to see if I had it in Ravelry, and a lot of times I did, but I called it something else, right? I might have called it what the fibers were, or I had to figure out if that's what I had, and that was especially true if I hadn't put a picture in, because I didn't always put pictures in. I had a purple skein of yarn, and I looked at everything I had listed in Ravelry that was purple, and there was one called Rose Quartz. I thought, all right, this must be Rose Quartz, and it was like, that is not it. The yards just don't match, and the color doesn't look just right, and the ever elusive Pokemons continue. Yes, Kay has been trying to catch all sorts of things all night here, and anyway, I could not figure out what it was. And finally, I hit the fiber section of Ravelry, and I found where it said Antique Mauve ewe lamb bats. It was a home processed fiber where I had bought the ewe lamb white, and I dyed it, and I made bats, and I spun it, and I'm like, that's not Antique Mauve, that's purple, but that's what it was, because the yardages matched, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. Anyway, I had a number of them. I have no idea. I have no idea what you are. And so, I kept it. Instead of selling it. No luck yet, huh? Me either. I haven't tried real hard tonight, though. I have one last chance. I think they're 15 minutes apart. One last chance, and then I'll probably stop streaming. So, Veggie, after asking you about the jigsaw puzzle, I went and on my desktop and did the Google search and you know, I didn't look at too many of them. The very first one, I went ahead and started a puzzle there, and it looks like two things you could do. Two things you could say, okay, put me on with a lot of other people that is on your server, so random strangers would come and help you with it. Or you could say, I want these people to be able to come and do the puzzle with me, but they have to tell me that through an email. And I was like, yeah. So I did that puzzle, but then I got rid of it. I was just like, no, that wasn't what I wanted. It was hard. A lot of pieces. I was like, I didn't want to work this hard on it. But that's a good thing if you have a lot of people working on it. So I've decided I prefer to do my puzzles on my iPad. I like it a lot better. Well, that's okay. I've given up the idea of doing it on the... That's the other thing I wanted to tell you. I've given up the idea of doing it on the internet. I mean, on the stream. All that whole stream, all it would be is me talking to myself about the puzzle. Let's see, I need a... okay, it has an outie and an innie, and it's green. That'd be a boring stream. I wish I could start this stream late enough that I could stay up till Snoring Cat gets on, but man, I could not stay up that late. I hardly ever catch her stream because I can't stay up that late. But it'd be fun to read her. It's not phone friendly? Ooh. I can't do anything like that on my phone. I'm so spoiled by the iPad. I do think, stuff like that comes and goes, right? Just because they put it out on the internet doesn't mean it stays there. I think they take down servers and all sorts of stuff. Makes it go away. My most recent addition as far as the game is now I'm not going to be able to say the name of it. It's an aquarium. Tropical fish? But it's 2. It's the second version. I played the original on a previous version of an iPad. You've tried to talk her into streaming earlier. It hasn't worked. Well, I'm sure it works for her. That's the important part. So anyway, you breed fish, right? You have all these different kinds of things, and you know, I'm at the point where I'm starting up, and I have to be careful because they die. I mean, I get the rare ones. If you get anything over rarer than uncommon, other than common and uncommon, and you're early in your tanks, they die. So, you know, I get so frustrated, but I kind of like it, right? Just go feed the fish, watch them swim around a little bit, and then go do something else. Oh, I think I'm done spinning. Maybe one more. Oh, man. Fish Tycoon. Fish Tycoon 2. I could actually put that on this desktop. Yeah, that's what it's called. Fish Tycoon. Had to Google it. Oh, I have a little tiny piece here. Huh. I am loving spinning this. It is so nice and soft. Even though it's in a bag that says Shetland, I kind of wonder. Because it's so bouncy. But it is nice. And it's spinning so nice and thin. That is a characteristic of Shetland. Nice prep. Which I didn't do. I bought. I remember buying it at a fiber fair. Alright, last bit here. Let's see if I can get a little closer to the edge there. There's a birdie. Sparrow. Catch me if you can. Nobody gonna do it? Alright. It is common. I probably have bunch of them. Oops. Oh, well, now I'm not going to get it because I screwed up. Oh, well. I'm surprised you got that in, Kay. I thought it was going to say I'm done. Yay, Kay got it. Bird in the hand. I just realized hubby's computer isn't turned on. The electric took it off and nobody's turned it back on. I better turn it on my way out of here. Although I'll probably forget and walk right past it. think I ever said anything about this on the stream. Can't remember. A week or so ago, we were out on the porch and looked straight out. You look into a cornfield, and along the side of the cornfield, there's a big strip of grass that has trees planted in it going down our lane. But right at the corner of that, but out on the grass, was a great blue herring. Big bird. You know, they just standing there, facing the cornfield, like we thought maybe he was hunting or whatever. Now, we have creeks, so it's not unusual to have the herring around, right? But you should see him down in the water. And it was just really funny that it was standing not in the creek and not really moving around a lot. And I said to hubby, I wonder if it got bumped by a car out on the road or something, and just came here to sort of recuperate or whatever. It did eventually leave, although I never saw it fly away. I think both of us had come in the house, but then when we went back out, it was gone. Big bird, big bird. I'm used to seeing the sand hills down at Mom's, but I rarely see anything like that around here. We'll see them flying over, going from our creek over to a lake that's nearby, but never stopped like that. I was thinking about the birds, because the name of the song is "The Birds Will Leave," but the birds have been flocking. Unfortunately, what we get is starlings, because I say unfortunately, they're so noisy, right? They love the cornfield though, so they get down into the cornfields. I don't know if they're sitting on the corn or if they're sitting on the ground, but something spooks them and they'll all rise up out of that cornfield. And it's a distinctive sound, right? It's a very distinctive sound. But you only get it this time of year, when they're getting ready to travel south for the winter. Oh, that filled that in good. I wonder if brown yarn is as hard to work with as black. I can't remember ever making anything out of brown yarn. Hi, Knots. So I'm sorry to tell you that I am almost ready to sign off. But welcome. Glad you could stop in. I'm spinning some Shetland here. I'll be spinning it for a while. I was spinning it Wednesday. And that's the end of my music. we got some ads. I'm just going to back it up a little bit. Oh, look at this one. This is a good one to end on. Good luck, everybody. Timing. Pooh, it's rigged. Yeah. That was a cool one. Probably should have used an Ultra Ball or something. right, that's a lot of spinning done tonight. Of course, that's on top of what I did today earlier. I'm going to check and see who's streaming. I don't know if I want to. Turn off the music. A lot of people streaming.
Part of the house, I would probably have to be taking a break too.
She's tatting.
Are you out there too?
Traveling tatters on.
Felt like 102. Yeah. My husband this morning, I asked him what the weather was like. He said it was. What did he say? He said 91, but it felt like 111. I'm like, are you sure? Because usually the index, what it really feels like, I think a few degrees more. And no, it really was.
Okay. I personally am not going to be able to stay, so I am not. I'll read her and send you all over there. I'm sorry, I really can't stay with her. Stay with you. I'm tired. I need to go. But I will say goodbye first before I do. Oh, and I gotta figure out here. Get her name spelled right. Traveling Tatter. Okay. There we go. I will be back Sunday afternoon and see you then. And unfortunately, I will be spinning the same thing. Boring. Go say hello to the Traveling Tatter. She's making purple pumpkins. Say that fast 3 times. Take care, buddy. Bye.
Need to. That would be a tough choice.